Good morning. It's 2012. I'm Laura Roehrick, RN, CFCN, Certified Foot Care Nurse. I'm in my little office that we just moved into. It used to hold all my herbal stuff, and I call it my salve lab. Now it's being transformed into the foot headquarters for my nonprofit and my small private business, which by the end of the year I'm going to donate to the nonprofit to be a revenue stream once I kind of formally retire. Anyway, so things are kind of chaotic and a mess here because we just moved in. But I thought it might be fun if I show you how I am going to pack up a foot care kit for my associate, Laurie Steese, is coming up from Marin County today to help me. Laurie and I actually grew up together on a houseboat in Sausalito in the early 60s. But that being said, we're both nurses now. She came and trained with me. She's a foot nurse and my good friend. She's coming to help me because my back went out yesterday, and that can happen. And it went out, I can predict when it does this, is when I do foot care for a patient who's in a bed and I have to reach over. As long as I'm sitting in my stadium seat and I'm using good ergonomics, I never have problems, but I can almost count that I will be seeing the massage therapist and doing ice after seeing this one particular bed patient. So anyway, I'm going to load up stuff for her. I thought I'd show you quickly some of the gear that I use. And I'll start off, this is all sort of part of my Roehrick method. I don't know what else to call it. I think it's the best method, but it's something that people can start with. It took me years, but I use, to figure this out, it's a stadium seat. I used to sit on a stool, lean over, terrible on the back. I sit in a stadium seat, it totally supports my back. I sit at the foot of somebody's feet with their feet in my lap. So that's gonna go in the car. I have a plastic box for her that I'm just kind of loading up with some stuff. These are puppy pads I get. I think they're cheaper than the medical supply. They're easier down at Walgreens or whatever. Puppy pads, that's what goes in the lap and the foot goes on it. I've put in a few infection control gowns for her if she's doing somebody who's pretty dusty. We've got some gloves, magnifying glasses. I love these click glasses. I actually got to meet the guy who invented these. He's from Sonoma County. He's a gazillionaire now. But anyway, click glasses to go over your other glasses. Magnification is magnificent and essential for what you're doing. I see so many people doing foot care and they're like leaning over, their face is 3 feet away from the feet. They don't have magnification or headlamps on, and I'm going, how do you even know what you're doing? So my method is to get up close and personal with magnification and headlamp, which is, what is it called? I Know Gear. I think it was $27 on the internet, and the joy of this thing is it charges by your computer, USB cord, or you can plug it in. For years, up until this, I was getting batteries and replacing them, and it was insane. So this goes over my head. Okay, I guess that one isn't charged. Hang on. I have 3 of them, and I was very busy yesterday. So this one is, and it has different settings, and I don't use it in strobe. That would not be fun. Okay, so I use that. That'll go in here as well. I'm gonna stick 2 new masks in there. They're N95s. That's the only kind you wanna use. You do not wanna use a surgical mask. Surgical masks only protects the patients from your respiratory stuff. N95 respirator mask is what you need. There's a variety of sizes or styles, all sorts of stuff. So 2 of those are going in here. Microcin spray, I am religiously using this post care for any kind of micro dermabrasions that might happen. I mean, honestly, I very, very, very rarely even see 1 drop of blood. I could go weeks and do hundreds of patients. It's because of the magnification and the headlamp and all that, but you don't know. So there's microabrasions that might not be bleeding. Microcin just kind of kills everything, and it's very non-toxic, and it's wonderful. And I love Sonoma Pharmaceuticals, who are my neighboring. They live in Petaluma, and their headquarters, I think, is in the Netherlands. And I actually got to meet the founder in 2004 when I was in England. So they have a place in my heart, and they donate all the supplies for my street feet clinics, and they have little smaller sizes that I give out to the patients at the street feet clinic for athlete's foot, wounds, anything that you want to have cleaned up and sprayed. That's the stuff. And then I put in, of course, my own lion's paw. This is what I make with olive oil, beeswax, and different herbs that are good for the feet. And my idea with this is that it can be made anywhere in the world with any of those ingredients. And when I was in Nepal, I demonstrated to a village of farmer women how to make a version of this using mustard oil, beeswax, which they had previously been throwing away, but the beekeeper kept it for me, and she was so excited to know that you could have use bees, and they should make candles too. The electricity goes out there all the time. So anyway, I put this in there and I finish off all the dry feet anyway, and most of the feet, if people like it, it depends. And so that goes in there, but I have little spoons that I dig it out with, so I don't put my dirty gloves in there. So I keep a little packet of spoons so I can, you know, for kind of infection control purposes. So that's going in there. So that's the post care. This actually is something that I made. I just kind of make these things with, this has isopropyl alcohol, aloe gel, glycerin, some orange and rose hydrosols, and a little bit of soap and some witch hazel. So I just kind of throw things together to spray on their feet to clean up ahead of time. And I never have people soak. Not good, pools the blood, dries the skin. You know, it's not good at all, especially for people with diabetes. If you want to soak 5 minutes in tepid water for a specific reason, or if you're soaking in apple cider vinegar for athlete's foot, that's a good thing. So I call it very unprofessional spit shining, but that's what I do. And I also use the 4x4s. Here they are. Okay. So I use the non-gauzy, the soft 4x4s, and I have been getting my supplies from More Medical for a gazillion years, and they're really great company. But so the 4x4s and these pads, some of them actually have pictures of feet. Hang on them. They're called pody pads, and they're pretty cute. So I get those, and that's what I use to kind of display all my instruments and supplies, because I'm sitting on the floor, so I make it my little Mayo stand. I used to be an operating room nurse, so that's what you would call the stand where you had all your supplies. So we've got that, and that. Now, this is it's a hair bouffant, one of those things to go over your head if Laurie wants to cover her hair. She usually wears her own turban kind of a thing. And now I'm going to put in the supplies, and I sterilize them all in a very small autoclave. So what I do is I sterilize them, and then I group them into individual packets to keep them clean, because it's not a sterile procedure. But my dream, of course, would be to have a bigger sterilizer where there would be enough room that you could put individual packs. But for now, I just put the instruments in, sterilize them, and very carefully with gloved hands, holding them at the tips, put them into the clean packages. So this is a variety of rasps and things that I used to kind of clean up under the nail. They're going in there. These are the majority of the nippers that I'm using. I'm now getting very inexpensive online from all sorts of different companies. And they're curved, they're small, they're cheap, they're sturdy, they're $8 to $12 each, and that's the standard one. Because honestly, most of the feet I see with the really big thick nails, I don't even use nippers. Nippers are painful. More chance to get blood. They pull at the side. If you have those thick, especially the onychogryphosis, where they'll grow out to be ram's horns and stuff, they're horrible. So I just disintegrate them all with the file. But normal nails, and sometimes I do fingernails too. So they're going in there. These are more specialized high-end ones. I won't take them out, about the same size, but they're a flat. And this is a large double action nipper for if you have a really thick, long nail. You can get some length off. What I'll do with those is get length off, and then I'll go back with the drill and the right burr, and then I'll smooth it down from there. But honestly, I use the drill more than anything. And then a couple really small ones if there's tiny toenails that have ingrowns or something like that. And I throw in, sometimes I'll do the fingernails, and I'll just leave the patients with an emery board, because honestly, I just don't have time to do that. And I don't know if you've ever done it. It's like, no, there's just one more little edge here, and then you could spend 15 minutes doing one person's hand. So I say, I cut the lengths, you can finish the file, unless they have arthritis or can't. And then I'll take my electric file for some instances. I don't want to sound cruel, but I'm pretty busy, so I have found ways to, and they're happy. It gives them something to do. Okay, now I'm going to go, excuse me for a minute. I have to, when I travel, I don't use the vac drill, although the facility I'm going to today has a File Pro donated to me by Steve Wallace at Medicool. Thank you so much, Steve. I'm going to be able to use the salon there, I'm subletting from Frank the hairdresser. So I actually get a headquarters at this huge facility where I used to go into each room individually. Now I'm going to get to use his hair place, and I am going to bring the file back there, and it'll live there. But for the majority of the part I have time, I use 2 small high-speed drills. And in a high-speed drill, you want to look for at least 30,000 RPMs, reverse forward. And that's what they have. This one is the standard that fits all the, podiatry burrs that come and are sold on the internet. This one I have a special relationship with, again, medical in Southern California. They have I told them what my needs were. I have this special drill. I call it the Lion's Roar. First part of my last name, because lion's paw, Lion's Roar, high tech, low tech. Anyway, my little makes my business fun. So this has a different size handpiece that doesn't accommodate most of the podiatry burrs. And I'm not going to go into details about this because it's not really available yet. It may be someday. The only people who have these are my bestest friends in the world, foot nurse friends, who I know are exceptional master sculptors. It's very, very high-end stuff, and you have to be really skilled because the burrs that go in it are pretty aggressive and you have to know what you're doing. But for me, that's almost all I use. And I think if you're taught and you know how to do it and you have some skill, that this is where you're going to end up wanting to be. But it's just, we're not at that point yet. So that's all going in there. And then a quick sneak preview of some of my burrs that I use. And just to let you know, I could use 4 or 5 different burrs on one person's foot. I could use 3 size nippers. I take every single toe and I look at what it needs and how it needs to be cut. And if it's straight across, I'll cut straight across and then I'll smooth it. And if it's ingrowing and way down and it hurts the person on the side, I'll go way down the side and smooth that out so it doesn't go into the other nail. So when you hear people say, oh, cut straight across or cut to the curve of the nail, I say cut to the way that nail needs to be cut to keep it the safest and most comfortable for the patient. And also, I go shorter. Maybe over the years, a couple people have said you did it too short, but I like to get them as short as possible so they don't have to see me very often because I'm so busy. And also, it's less expensive for them and it keeps them comfortable longer. Of course, you don't want to hurt them. You learn how far you can go. So this is a skill. You just have to do it and do it and do it. And as you learn, just a warning, you are going to hurt people. You're going to do the wrong thing and your brain goes, oh, I can't go that far. And that's how you learn a skill. You just have to do it over and over and over and over again. And that's why I like to teach at places like Street Feet and the homeless shelters where there is unlimited amount of needs and variety and fun stuff. And I look forward to our future clinics. And also a heads up, we're going to do a big Veterans Day event November 11th. And we're having some guest nurses come up. A guest nail tech, Abby Findley from LA, I think is going to come up with Josie, whose name I can't remember. New RN coming to the team. And so we're really making a lot of progress. So that's it. I'll sign off. I got to get going. I've got lots of feet to do today, and have a great day. Namaste.